Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to What the Fuck Are We Doing? I'm Randie.
And I'm Miranda.
And okay, I was listening to, I told you, a previous episode to prepare for this one, just to kind of see where we were at. And remember when we used to, when I would do the introduction, I'd be like, this is episode whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what episode even is this? This is
17.
Okay, this is 17 of season 2, but when I was going through like our profile on Apple Podcasts, we've have 53 episodes so far.
Oh my God.
Wow, guys. 53
That's crazy.
episodes.
What have we even talked about for so long?
Oh my gosh. And in that episode, I wanted to cry because that was the episode that went live on my birthday and you did the little birthday message.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh.
Oh my God. I remember I did that. And I was like, I feel like I sound so stupid on here by myself.
I loved it.
Hey guys.
The episode I'm talking about is Two Unemployed Bitches. I believe that's the title of it.
That was like one of our first ones.
Yeah, it was one of our first episodes. It came out July 6th of last year. And
wow.
Yeah, like just listening to it, like we don't sound too different from how we are now.
I feel like we probably just sound like more comfortable than before.
We sound definitely way more comfortable now. I think before it seemed a little bit more structured, and you can tell, like,
yeah,
well, I mean, I could tell we were a little bit nervous. It was honestly such a good episode. I think we killed it. One thing, though, was that was still, like, when, I mean, the pandemic is still fresh, but I mean, like, that's when it was real fresh.
Like, new. Yeah,
yeah, like
4 months in, 3 months in.
We were talking about our anxiety, like, going and doing Target pickup orders.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was real interesting, but obviously in that episode,
we're in such a better place.
In that episode, we talk about being unemployed, which we still kind of are.
And Randie's not anymore.
I'm not anymore, guys.
Woohoo!
I just got a job. I just got hired yesterday somewhere doing something.
We're not telling you.
Yeah, I'm not telling anyone. You're special if you know what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I'm not unemployed anymore. Miranda's about to not be unemployed anymore.
I hope.
We're pretty damn sure. Like,
I hope so. Watch me like somehow not get this job.
You know what? If not, like, that's
if I don't get this job, I'm gonna come work with you. Is what I'm gonna do.
I think it's,
and then we're gonna work at the same place, and it's gonna be so fun.
That. But yeah, so, well, I mean, I guess I'm not technically employed yet because they're currently doing my background check.
Okay, well, it's gonna go through because you're not a criminal.
I know, but what if they found this and they're like, oh my God.
You know what? That would just be rude. If anything, they should be like, she's so creative. Look at this platform in which she's doing it.
Yes.
What I was going to say, though, is we like try to, and we talk about this all the time, we try to talk about things that are obviously relevant to our lives. And now that Randie's not unemployed, we just thought it was like a good time to refresh our work episode, just like we did last week with our
mental health one. Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yep. And yeah, so now Randie's gonna be a working woman, you guys.
Yeah, I'm back on that. I'm chasing the bag once again. And
I'm so excited. I'm just excited that, like, I hope I get this job, that we're gonna be like normal people again, you know?
And I think that's when you brought up like talking about this today. I thought it was so crazy because all the points that we're going to talk about in this episode, obviously, but all the points you brought up to me, I was just like, yes. Like, we have to talk about this.
It's so funny because we do need to talk about it. And I feel like our perspectives, maybe they haven't changed much. I think they have about work. You
just
think?
A little bit from the last episode. Like, we'll get into it, but they've changed a little bit.
Oh, I'm excited. I didn't listen. I should have listened.
No, it's good.
Yeah. So yeah, here we are. Okay, Randie. Well, we can't tell them what you're gonna do with. I do too, and my eye is like really itchy.
It's okay, itch it.
There's something in my eye.
Is it itch it or scratch it? Which, like, do you say itch?
You're supposed to scratch your itch, right?
Okay, yeah. Like,
or do you?
You're not supposed to itch it. I just said itch it. And
why did we say that though? I don't know. Someone explain. No one told us what menthol was. So rude.
Well, you know what's so crazy is the other day I was putting on my lip balm. And my lip balm does like that cooling thing. And then I was like, does it have menthol in it? And it does.
That's what menthol is? It cools?
Yeah, it's like that cooling, like, I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Like, weird, but like Puff Bars, like I know you've hit a Puff Bar at least once.
Sure.
I'm sure.
Okay. I
Like,
think,
like
yeah,
some of
yeah,
them have
yeah.
like the menthol and they have the cooling, like there's that.
Wow. I
It's
didn't
like,
know
yeah.
that's what menthol. Now we know. Oh
No
my
one
God,
told us.
I really no one fucking commented, and nobody told me if my eyes are different sizes, which I also asked people to do.
But
so.
I think that's better that they didn't, right? Because your eyes aren't different sizes.
I truly believe that they are, but it's okay. I'll just.
Okay. Other than, besides the topic, how are you doing, Miranda? How is life?
I'm good. Nothing really is. Oh, my niece is about to turn 1.
That's
in a couple of weeks.
insane.
I know. It makes me want to cry a little bit.
Like this started when she wasn't even
here
born.
Yet. Mm-mm. I know, and here she is. She's getting so big. She's like doing all these like big girl things, and it just makes me want to cry. But other than that, I don't think there's like really anything exciting happening in my life.
Everything's been pretty peachy. I feel like for
like
the both
very
of us.
normal. So I'm just like kind of enjoying the normalcy of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
Honestly, like I'm still on that cloud 9, guys. Like I'm still like been so good.
That's good.
And I'm like sticking up for myself. You know what? Good things happen when you do what's best for you. Like, cause that's what I'm realizing. Like, I got a call back for the interview for the job, like right before I got hired. Literally, like, it was the day right after I blocked those 2 guys. And
God was like, "Let me reward you."
Yeah, I really think so. But yeah,
That's
honestly,
good.
I just started sticking up for myself and doing things, and life's good. Good Days by SZA is doing something for me. I listen to it every day. I'm like, wow.
I'm glad that that's funny. What I listen to every day is fucking like crime podcasts. Maybe I need to start like listening to.
Well, I do that too, but I have to sprinkle in a little.
I need to do that.
know.
I need to start like manifesting things, I think.
I honestly every day. I say the same thing every day, and I think it's working. And I've
People
been praying
keep saying
a lot.
that it works for them. I'm gonna start doing it. Okay.
Every
If
day,
anyone
I'm like, God
knows
is
anything
so good
about manifesting, DM us. We want to have you on the podcast.
Honestly, yes. Like we really do.
Yeah. Well, we want to find somebody.
What is it? Tarot? Is that what it's called? Tarot cards?
The cards and like palm reading shit, like all that type of stuff. And we don't know. I don't know anyone that does it. But if you do it or know someone, yeah, please message us because we want to have an episode with you.
Yes, please. So today we are talking about our updated feelings about, going back into
the
working
workforce
and all that good stuff. And yeah, honestly, at first you text me, you asked me how I felt, and I literally text you. I was like, I'm not. You asked me if I was excited, and I was like,
and
no.
You're like, no.
I was like, I don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
And then I got hired, and I was super excited.
Different.
Super excited. And now I'm just like, how do I really feel? Like, how do I really feel?
I know.
I'm
well,
excited.
that's like, yeah, of course. Well, it's like, I think that's what I wrote down. Like, are we excited? Are we nervous? Are we sad that our lives are going to suddenly have more things to do? Because for the past year, we've been like
chilling.
Like we could do whatever we want on any given day.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm excited for you. I know that obviously I'm not the one that's got to wake up and go to work, but I think it's going to be like a new thing, like it's just going to be fun. And you're going to make money. Like, that's like
me, honestly, like, I hate myself. Literally, as soon as I walked out of the interview and they told me, like, oh, you got the job, I was like walking and I called my mom and I'm talking to her and I hang up. And the first thing that comes to mind, I was like, oh my God, I don't have to live off my savings anymore. I was like, thank the fucking Lord. Because if you listen to this podcast, Miranda and I are big savers. Like, we talk about our savings all the time, and we hate fucking touching our savings. And I haven't been on unemployment for a while now, and I've been living off my savings, paying for school. I've only been allowing myself to buy, like, necessities, and even that has been, like, killing me to watch, like, little, like, money drop out of my savings.
That's how I was the other day with gas. I was like, fuck, I need gas.
Yeah, I was like, I should just fucking start walking. Shit.
Seriously, I'm going to ride a fucking bike.
But that was the first thing. I was like, oh, my gosh, like, I'm going to have, like, some sort of income. Like, I feel good about that. But Yeah, like
I mean,
I'm
like
very
no
nervous.
one wants to work, right? Like no one's like, I'm sure you're not excited. Like I have to do like physical
See, no, like
work. Are you?
I'm
No.
not necessarily. I don't. I feel like it's okay. This is the weird part. It's like I'm excited because it's not like I haven't been doing anything at all, even though I make
No,
myself
yeah.
feel that way because I do go to school. I was a full-time student,
Mm-hmm.
but now, like going into the interview, I was super nervous because me just being anxious, I was getting in my head and I was like, okay, can you do this? Like you're going to be I graduate next year, or I'm supposed to graduate next year. I'm like, can I handle it? And then like working and doing all these things and the podcast, I was like, is this really what I want? And I was like, you know what, Randie, like you need the money. Like you need the money. Like that's mainly obviously like why anyone does anything, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is a good job for me. It's going to be nice. I'm just trying to be positive about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do. As you said that, I just was thinking about the last time we talked about this. I know that we were both like, we don't want to take a job that, like, it's not something we don't want to do. And, like, now I feel like we're going to take a job because, like,
I need it. I'm like, I need
like,
it.
we've been out of work for so long. Like, that was so fresh in our, like,
a
unemployment life. Like, we were, like, a few months in. We were like, this is nice, like, whatever. Now we're like over a year of being unemployed. So now it's kind of like, if they're going to hire me, I'm going to take the fucking job. Like I was just talking to my mom the other day about the job that I'm hoping I get hired for. And her and like my brother-in-law, they're like, well, how much does it pay? And I was like, I don't know. And like, I'm like, I don't even care. Like I need a job. Yeah. Like, I'm like, does it matter? Like, could I be picky with the pay right now? Like, I feel like I can't. Like, I just need an income.
That was me. And my grandma asked me, she's like, oh, how much are you making? Like, how much is it? And I was like, honestly, grandma, I don't know. I was like, I know it's definitely way more than minimum wage. Yeah. And I was like, I'm cool with it. Like,
that's what my mom was like, is it going to be like what you got paid at your old job? And I was like,
see, that was the thing.
Know.
That's why, too, I was like, I don't know exactly. I was like, all I know is it's more than my last job. And I was like, that's all I care about. I was like, if they could match that, I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I'd like to. I made good money, so I would like to make what I made at my last job. But I'm like, if I'm like $1 or $2 shy of that, I'm not gonna be mad. Like, I'll be totally fine. But I would just thought that was so funny because if you asked me the same question last year, I'd be like, no.
Oh, both
like,
of us were
I
like,
will
no.
not.
Listen to two unemployed bitches, and
we were like, fuck that job, fuck that place, which I still feel that way. But
the entire time in the episode, I'm like, I just want a job where I can be
happy
and be myself. And it's like, I can totally be myself at this job.
Yeah. I still feel that way. I still feel that way. And like the job that I'm hoping I get is something I do want. So like it would work out. But then even if I don't get that job, like I'm going to go find a job that's not that job and I'm still going to take it because I can't do this pulling out of my savings. I just had to do it again last night and I wanted to cry. I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing it. And watching the number like
we're the same in that sense, and then we'll both tell each other like, oh, it's okay. Like it's okay.
Yeah, but then internally we're both like
we're like both dying for each other at the same time. We're like, oh.
It's just the worst. And like I'm just excited. I'm excited to know that you are getting a job because then I'm like, okay,
it's
life
happening
is
for
returning
you.
to normal. Like Randie's working again.
Guys, like that's why too, like I'm kind of excited because it's like, okay, we're both fully vaccinated. I'm like, I'm more comfortable now. And I was talking to my grandma, I was like, I'm so glad like I got vaccinated when I did, because it's like I had the opportunity to like get that interview, like do those interviews, and now I have this job, and now I'm gonna feel more comfortable. And it's like obviously we still wear masks and stuff, but I'm just like, wow, like now that like light at the end of the tunnel that everyone's been talking about, like it's here, like it's approaching. And I'm like, wow, science is so awesome. Like I love it.
I know. I honestly, like if the vaccine wasn't a thing, I probably wouldn't want a job. Like
I still would probably be jobless. And
like I'm so glad we got to do that.
Sitting there writing an essay or doing something of some sort.
I'm not even in school, so I would just be doing whatever the fuck I've been doing the past year.
That would be me too, even if I wasn't in school.
I don't know what I've been doing, but I'm excited.
You've been living your life as you should.
I have
the
like
life
a little
is changing.
bit.
I feel like this is I mean, at least for me in my life, like, I feel like I've been making big changes, and
Yeah.
I've been a lot happier than I have been in my entire life, which is exciting. And now, like, there's this job, and like
I'm just like, I'm excited because I think that, one, I'm just excited that you're like, you got a job, but I'm also excited because I feel like now that we're like super, like, we're really starting to like go back to things that maybe we're gonna have like human interactions we can talk about, because
I
we've
know,
never
like,
fucking got to do that on here, which is so crazy to me. Like, everything has been like
I'm so
memories of
excited.
things.
Literally, I'm just so excited. Like,
I know.
that's what I've been thinking. I'm like, wow, we're getting close to like, what the fuck are we doing? Being like, what it was meant to be.
Yeah, like, isn't that crazy that it's never been what we intended it to be? Because we literally
Like, I mean,
never
in
got...
some sense, like, guys, we're not doing this for nothing. Like,
No,
the
but
past year,
like this, when we envisioned this, it was just different.
we're
because
going out, getting drunk
Yeah.
like we normally do,
And,
like,
like,
we're living our lives,
telling
and we're
our
gonna
stories.
Come. Yes,
And we
wow,
haven't-
like, who would have thought? Here we are a year
a
later,
fucking pandemic.
a pandemic.
Honestly,
Now
yeah, I'm just excited to like
you're in a
not have to-
relationship.
I know.
I just got hired somewhere. Like, what? Life is wild.
I know.
I just feel
really
like a
is.
new chapter is like opening.
I know. I'm just so excited. I just feel like it's, I don't know. Like, I know people have been like fucking living their lives and whatever, but like we're really starting to like live our normal lives again, and I'm excited for that.
Yes. And it's like summer's approaching, guys.
I know.
Our
Well, we're so
birthdays are
dumb. Like,
approaching.
why did we wait to get jobs in the fucking summer?
Dude,
Like this is my favorite time of the year. And
That
now we're
was
going to
the
be working.
that was like one of the first things I thought. I was just like, because my brother, for those of you who don't know, he doesn't live at home, and he's like my bestie, and he's coming home this summer for the first time in a while, and like we have like little things like planned for him, and now I'm like, oh my god, like, can I take those days off? Like, what? I'm like, shit.
I was just thinking about that because like we're going on like a little mini vacation in like June, and I'm like, oh my god, if I get this job, I'm gonna have to be like, hi, like I need these few days off, please.
Well, that's why too. My grandma was like, Randie, you should have told them, and I was like, I didn't want to tell them that, like, right?
No, it's always like so awkward because you
Yeah.
want to be like, you're like, hi, no, I just got hired, but I need these days off.
And then I started thinking, I was like, okay, it's May, like, yeah, it's gonna be June soon, but I was like, that's a month, like, hopefully by then I could just be like, oh,
I need this time off.
it's like one day, or to just be like, can I please work morning? Like,
Yeah.
that's all I need to do. I'm just hoping.
Just thinking too. So I've been thinking about this whole job thing, right? Because the job that I'm hoping to get is not like a Monday through Friday. Like, this is every day of the week thing.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, think about it.
Well, no, I knew that, but I didn't know, like,
no,
I mean, people take turns, like, you know, there's more than
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
But so
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
You're
I
gonna
know.
be booked and busy.
which is
You're
not what
gonna
I want.
really be booked and busy.
So I don't know. Like, I don't think you work more than like 3 to 4 days a week. Like, the person that I know that does it works, I think 3 days in a row. Super long shifts, but what else am I going to do with my life, you know?
Miranda's going to work at a not legal clinic. That's what she's talking about. I'm totally kidding. She's not. Because, you know, like, at those places, they work like fucking
crazy
like they're
fucking
nurses or
long
some
hours.
shit. Yeah,
and they pay you like 5 cents an hour. Yeah.
And it's not even, it's like not.
They pay you 5 cents
That's
under
she's
the
not
table.
going to do. But
no, I'm not.
I'm
but
just
I was
making
just
fun.
thinking that, and I was like, what if I work the weekends all the time? Like, this is, and I was just like, this kind of sucks, but you know what?
We're growing up, girl.
I don't even care.
And
I'm like,
you
you
know
want me
what's
to work
another
every
thing?
day? I'll work every day. I need
You know,
money.
it's another thing I've been on for like the past couple weeks. Like,
What?
I get that, like, okay, we have weekdays and the weekend. Like, the weekend
it
is
really
Saturday,
matter?
Sunday. I'm like,
The
I
days
will
are
gladly
days.
do shit that people do on the weekend during the weekday. Like, you can look
I
at
was-
me different.
I was
Like, I'll
literally-
do like whatever you guys do. Like, why? Like, why do we say that?
Because
like,
that's
okay,
like a
I'm gonna
societal thing.
It is.
We've
and
made
I'm
that a
totally
thing.
conforming and gonna be that bitch who's working, you know, the weekday, and then I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
my weekend or whatever. But no, like, why? Like, why? Like,
You
why
know
do we
what?
do
And
that?
like so many people I know that like work in the medical field will be like, happy weekend, and it's like Wednesday because like that's their weekend, and I'm like, I want to live like that. Like, I want to just,
Like,
you know, the days
to
don't mean
me,
anything.
That's
Unless
how
you're in
I feel
school.
now. That's how I'm looking at life. I'm like, I wake up, it's like, okay, cool, it's Wednesday, it's Tuesday, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that doesn't mean shit unless I have deadlines or something to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm going to take that shit, like, get that shit taken care of. I'll do what I have to do. But then in my free time, like, I could do whatever the fuck I want. Like,
You
why
really
do you
can.
have to, like...
Well, and, like, the crazy thing... So, you know what also, like, made me start thinking about that is, like, my boyfriend's job is very much that way. Like,
Yes.
he works on his own schedule and, like, whenever. So it's not like he just works during the week and not the weekends. A lot of times he works more on the weekend than anything else. So I'm like, honestly, I think it'll be just fine. It's
Yeah,
not,
like,
you know,
I think we're both going to be good. We're
I'm
still
just
going to
so
make time.
excited.
And I'm just happy, like...
I never thought I'd be so excited for you to go to work. Like,
I like how you're so excited for me. Honestly,
I am. I'm like living vicariously through you. And I'm just like, I'm going to go visit you at work and just, oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm just excited because like I've had all these like little goals for myself set for like when I graduate college, and like now that I have this job, I'm like, shit's happening for me, guys.
That's
like,
how I
I'm
feel.
Really,
like all the things that we've talked about doing, like a lot of them had to be like put on hold essentially because we either didn't have like the financial resources or whatever. But now, you know,
now we are.
Everything is possible.
Honestly, I'm just hyped. I'm so excited for myself. I'm so excited for you because I know you're gonna get it. And even if you
what
don't,
if my
like,
background check comes back and they're like, no, bitch. They're like, we see this podcast on here, and actually, this is
if they tell you that, they're going to tell me that because in comparison, the jobs, my friend, are a little different.
Yeah.
But, okay, one thing I want to talk about, booked and busy. How do we feel about that?
Okay, I saw this, and I meant to pull it up. Motherfucker. I saw this tweet about this the other day, which is what made me bring it up to you. And
all the tweets. I love the tweets. They always inspire us in some way.
They do. And
they really get me to think.
Me too. This girl was like, something about like, I don't want, like, what is all this shit about booked and busy? Like, I don't want to be booked and busy. I want to have a good work-life balance. And I was like, same. Like, but I feel like so many people are on that, like, I'm like so booked. Like, I'm, you know, all the time working on the weekends, da-da-da. And it's like, I get it. Like, if you gotta, like usual. Like, if you have to, and like that's what you gotta do to, like, you know, chase your dreams and whatever.
Like, do it.
But that doesn't
you know what?
feel
do
like
whatever
a
the fuck you want.
Sustainable life.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel like a sustainable life to me.
But
I want to work and like make money and work, and then I want to come home.
It's a working girl summer. Like, honestly, like that's something I've been thinking about too, because it's like, I was totally like, it was me just being butthurt that I wasn't hearing back from any jobs. But I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. I'm going to take this summer off. Like, I'm not going to have school, like, whatever. And then me being me, I was like, I can't not do nothing. So I'm going to, like, book for summer school. So I'm taking all these fucking summer school classes now. And then I got a job. And now I'm like, oh.
She's doing all the things.
So now I'm just like, I'm really going to be booked and busy. But I don't know, like, how I feel about that. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
Like, for a good reason, right? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I think I want to be booked and busy for the short period of my life where I'm like trying to get to where I want to be. And then once I'm where I want to be, I don't want to be booked and busy. I want to be like living.
Oh yeah, like,
and working.
And it's like, I don't want to wait for that. I don't want to wait for that life until like I'm retired, you know, like how some people are like their whole lives they like slave away.
That's why, and like obviously this job that I'm hoping to get is not like the end all be all job for me.
Mine either.
No. And like I know like my dream in life, and I think we've said this in the last episode, is like to make my own schedule. And I don't want somebody to tell me you have to be at work from this time to this time, Monday through Friday. But like, I don't want to do that. That's not, what is that thing we talked about when we're like, I don't dream of labor. Like, I don't like to.
But we also, I think how like, I mean, I always see tweets about it, and I'm sure you do too. Like, people are like, this is not the generation that like wants to work.
No,
like we will straight up quit jobs.
I literally wrote that.
Quit jobs. We're like, no,
honestly,
I don't need this.
I love that. I really do love that because I think that, well, we're like totally past the phase of like time when people are going to work one job for their whole life. Like,
Oh, yes.
we're
For
so
sure.
gone. It's just nobody does that anymore. And I love that because I think that then it makes us like, you don't feel this pressure to stay at this job because you could be like, okay, fuck this job. I can go find another job. Like, and
There's
I'll be happy.
options.
There really are.
I think that's like one thing that's so nice. Like, I talk about this all the time. If you follow me on Twitter, which is now private,
I'm going to try to find
if you
that
follow
tweet.
me on Twitter, like, you can see that I tweet about this, I feel like, quite frequently. If you're my friend, I feel like I talk about this quite frequently. But I'm so big on options.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean,
options
especially
are
when
so
it comes
nice.
to work.
And I think it's so cool. Like, life, you can change your mind about anything. So it's like, if you really don't want to do something, like, don't do it. Do something else.
The thing with
Try it
work
out.
too is like we spend so much of our lives working, and it's like,
Isn't that insane?
yes, like we're literally, it still blows my mind like that we're born and then we turn into adults and they're like, okay, now you work until you die. Like, that's just crazy to me. But we spend so much of our lives working, and it's like, if you're not happy somewhere, why are you gonna stay?
Just like a
Like,
relationship.
yeah.
I mean, I know
not
I
everyone
know
can-
a lot of you guys don't know how to leave unhappy relationships, but I was one of them. We've all been there.
Well, and like
But
a
it's
lot of
like-
people don't have a choice but to work.
Yeah.
But still, I feel like there's
That's why
so
too, like
many-
us, we're like, do we even have should we even be worried about how much we're making? Because we kind of
That's why I'm like,
we need something.
I'm like, I just need I need to check every fucking week or 2 weeks.
Like,
Okay, I
"Let
just
me
came across
unroll."
this tweet that I liked. This wasn't even the one I was talking about, but this is relevant too. It
it's
says,
gonna work.
this
It'll work.
generation is so obsessed with quitting jobs, and I love that for us. Stop doing things that don't make you happy in this short ass life.
Dude, yeah,
It's true.
like, I think that's like it's not even corny. I was gonna say it's corny, but it's not corny.
No.
Like, I think that's been like the biggest eye opener for me recently is like, you really never know like when your time is up.
No.
And it's like, so deep, but when I was really going through it, which was not that long ago,
Uh-huh.
I remember thinking like, I was watching Soul. Okay.
I
Has
love
anyone
that
watched
movie.
Soul? Okay, spoiler alert. Part of the movie, he like walks through this hallway and looks back like on his like
Mhm.
looks at his life. And at the end he's like sad, like, oh, like I don't remember that's how it was. And I started thinking like, whoa, like, am I gonna look back at my life and,
And
be like,
what the
I
fuck?
didn't do anything like I really wanted to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Well, and
that's
it's
so
just, like,
fucking
so-
sad.
It is sad, and that's why I just love that. Like, I have so many friends that I've seen like throughout just this past year, like with the pandemic. They're like, I quit my job and like I don't have another one, and I'm like, I love it. Like, they're just like leaving jobs that I knew they were miserable in, and they were so unhappy.
That was like you too.
Yeah, and
you were
it's
like one
like-
of the first people I know that actually did that. You were just
and
like,
it was
I'm
scary.
not happy here.
It was scary, like, because my parents had always been like, you don't quit a job unless you have
unless
another
you have
job.
another one. Oh my god, that's always been me. Like, that was
And
before
it's
I
like-
lost my last job. I remember I was looking for another one because I wanted to quit, and then I just
Yeah.
lost it, and I was like, whoa, like.
Well, and I
have
remember like
nothing.
I would leave work early to go and like take phone interviews like on my way home from work. And I didn't get those jobs, which ended up being okay because I didn't want them. But I was just like trying to find a job. And then I was like, okay, we're at the point here where like, I'm just going to quit. Like, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to leave. And there's, you know, it is what it is. And I truly think that was the best thing I've ever done for myself. But
I think so too.
I love, like, all the people that I've seen do it are so much happier now. And like, sure, they might not have an income right now, and obviously they're in the position where that's okay because they live at home and stuff. But I'll quit a job.
I
really
saw there was a tweet I saw. It was like a screenshot of a TikTok. And this girl, she was like, yeah, like, I don't want to work. She was like, I just really want money to buy to buy clothes and drinks. She's like, I really don't give a fuck. Like, I don't want to do anything else. And I was like,
I was literally thinking this is
that
what I
was me at one
thinking
point
today.
not too long ago. I was like, you know what? Like,
This is what I was thinking.
if
today.
I live off my savings for the next year, like, I'm kind of chilling. Like,
Yeah, like, do I want to?
I'm happy.
No.
I'm so happy. Like, this is one of the happiest, like, this is literally the happiest I have been in my life thus far.
Yeah.
And that might sound dramatic, but I'm being honest. And I saw a tweet where it said, okay, it's like this, say this person was on an interview and it's like, oh, can you tell me about this gap, this like year gap on your resume? And it's like, oh, it's the happiest I've ever been in my life. Well, mine was, I was pretty miserable, but now I'm happy. But now I'm just like, oh,
okay. Well, we could talk about that too then, because we were just talking about this the other day, because we've both obviously had interviews recently.
Yes.
And they always ask you, like,
I keep yawning. Sorry. I don't know
fine.
why. Like,
the only reason I'm not yawning is because I chugged a fucking iced coffee.
I turned off my fan right now. I think it was my fan, like, it was like relaxing me or something weird. I don't know. My eyes are getting all.
We both have had interviews recently, and
yes.
I'm sure everybody that has been in an interview knows that they ask you, like, about your previous work experience.
Yes.
And so obviously I left my last job not on a good note. Like, they didn't dislike me, but I didn't like them, obviously.
Yes.
And so when people ask me about it, I'm honest, because I'm just like, I have to be honest with these people, because like I always put like, you can't contact these people, right? Mm-hmm. And so I know that they know like something's up with it. And so I, like, this last job they asked, and I just explained to them basically what happened and how like uncomfortable and awful it was. And then Randie told me she was in this interview for her job. I was in
this interview for this job that I just got, actually. It was like my first and second interview. And I didn't say that like I didn't like my last employer. I kind of just, told them like I didn't like how like it was organized, like just little things that I did not like, which is why I wanted to work at this place, because I thought they had all those things. And at the end of the interview, the girl was just like, you know what? Like, never say that, ever. And I was just like,
and I sit there and tell every interviewer ever about my time.
She was like, I know, like, you weren't saying that, but she's like, when you, like, go to your third interview, she's like, don't even, like, say anything like that to him. And she's like, you don't want to say that to any, like, employer ever, because, like, it's going to look bad. And I told Miranda, and she's like, I do that every single interview.
All the time. I'm like, maybe that's why I don't get hired. But also, I don't see why it's a bad thing. Like, I can't
especially if you're not, like,
you're not talking shit.
Specifically talking shit. You're just like, oh, like, it didn't fit my needs.
Yeah, you're just being fucking honest. That's why when you told me that, I was like, oh my God. Like, because they ask you, why did you leave your last job? Mm-hmm. And, like, I've put down why I've left my last job. And then they want to talk about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm going to tell these people why I left. And for the most part, I mean, I don't think it's like I didn't get any of the jobs, but I don't think it's backfired on me unless I don't get this job. Then it's like, I don't know. But I was thinking about that.
But that was interesting when she said that. I remember I was like anxious about it. I was like, oh my God, like I didn't mean it in a bad way.
No.
And she was just like, no, like just don't say that.
And if they ask you questions about it, like,
but at the end of the day, I'm glad she told me that, because I was like, oh, I learned something. Like,
now you know.
Helping me out. The more you know.
I don't know. I think I hate interviewing. I hate like all of that stuff.
It's so crazy because like at my last job, I was the person doing the interviews.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, like I did interviews and I felt so awkward. Like interviewing people, I was like giggling. I was like smiling at them. Like I felt so awkward. Like I remember interviewing, like obviously they're like kids or people my age, and I'm like, oh, like what do you go to school for, like what are you majoring in, like totally being me, like bubbly, and they're talking to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my friend does that, and then my manager's looking at me like we're interviewing them, and I was
you're like, I don't know how this goes.
I'm like,
I don't.
Sorry.
Okay, when I got my first like adult job, I did a phone interview. And I told them, like, I straight up know nothing about this. Like, I've literally never done this in my whole life. And then I came in and they're like, okay, you're hired. And I was like, okay. So, like, I didn't have, like, any weird thing there. But, like, when I worked at, like, Urban, I went to, like a hiring, like, event. And, like, so they, like, went through all of us, like, super quickly. And it was so awkward. Like, it was the most painful thing of my life. And I was just, like, sitting in this chair, like.
Was it like a group thing or was it just you?
Yeah, they put like 4 of us together.
Oh, that's so awkward.
I know. And so like, you're like sitting like waiting for your turn. I was like, this is awful.
I'm pretty sure that's what my brother-in-law Gilbert did when he like worked at Active.
It's so uncomfortable.
But I remember when I did Active, like, okay, it was my old manager and then it was David, like my friend David, who interviewed me, and I just remember I was like, this is
I would have started laughing.
Yeah, I was sitting there just like.
I don't think interviews are I've never been in an interview that wasn't awkward. Like, I just feel like they're awkward.
Yeah.
Like, they're just weird. I just had a different one last week, and like I was like, obviously I was on Zoom, but like I wore like a cute top and was like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the company was working from home, and they were like all cozy, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so like weird and out of place. And there was like 4 of them on there, and I was like,
oh, and they were like super cozy. I think that's weird on their part.
Super cozy.
I think that's really weird on their part,
isn't
to,
it?
like, not be professional.
Yeah, they were like wearing like sweatshirts and like cozy clothes, and I was like, oh,
which is like cool, like I get it, but at the same time, like,
interesting, right?
yeah, I don't know.
I hate interviews. That's the fucking bottom line here.
Like,
maybe we should do an episode one day where we give people like interview tips. I don't have tons, but we could.
Honestly, like, I
feel like you'd be good at it.
Oh, I'm so
I'm
good
like
at it.
so
like,
awkward.
Yesterday, like, the guy who was interviewing, he's like a higher up dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my dad about it, and we were talking. He asked me like a couple questions, and in the middle of the interview, he's like, honestly, like, this is going so great. He was like, you can go take your drug test. Like, we're done. And I was like, thanks.
I just feel like I never know what to say, or like they ask you the dumbest questions. Like,
I feel like it's, I mean,
like,
most interviews, I feel like they're the same type of questions.
But it's just so dumb. I'm like, 3 qualities.
Interviews, what it is, like, it's literally selling yourself.
It is, but I hate doing that. And so I'm always like so awkward, and I'm like,
I think honestly, I am thankful that I've always been pretty good at talking to people.
Yeah,
and it's like, now I'm going to school for this. But also, like, in high school, like, I was a part of fucking business academy, and like, we literally learned how to interview and like how to do things like that, and I think it really helped me. So
I just think that anybody that knows me knows that I'm awkward, and like I just can't help it. Like, I really can't help it. Like, I'm such an awkward person, and like,
we're such a good balance.
If someone's being awkward to me, like, I'm like doubly as awkward. So it's like I just sit there and will be like someone get me out of here.
I don't know why I'm like, this happened in an episode not too long ago.
It did a couple weeks ago.
And I'm
Do you
like,
have like lavender or
so weird.
something in your room?
But it's not on.
Tired? Honestly, I'm sleepy, so I feel you.
I don't know if like I've been up since 6:30. I'm like back on my early. Like, Happy Rands is early.
She's awake with the sun. She rises with the
that
fucking
meme?
sun.
It's like, you better tell your girlfriend good morning because I wake up real early. That's me, guys. That's so funny. You better watch out. But
you know what? We should. Okay, people, if you're listening, you should go listen to our old work one first, and then listen to this one, and then that way you could hear the differences. Do you feel that there are a ton of differences?
There's not.
I mean, now that we're like kind of desperate for work.
One thing that I'm nervous to go. The only reason why I'm nervous to go back to work for this job is just because, like, I haven't worked for a year.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's like an adjustment for sure.
It's gonna not only is it's gonna be an adjustment. Like, I clearly have other responsibilities. Now it's not just school and like me graduating. Like, I also have a podcast that like this is gonna keep going. It's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And like also just me taking care of myself. But I don't know. I feel like I was able to do it before. I'm gonna make shit happen now. But it's definitely scary. Like, to think about like, oh my gosh, like for a while, like even applying to jobs, it's not that I forgot how to work, but I was like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna be like super slow, or like, am I gonna get it when they're training me like for certain things? I was just like, oh my gosh,
we always talk about how our brains have like something has happened during the pandemic.
Yes. And I'm just like,
are we gonna like snap back and be like, oh,
I'm hoping so. I hope I just like,
I think so too. I mean, we're young.
Back.
Like, it's not like we're old. Not that old people can't, but
but I'm just like, damn, I'm gonna be at work now. Like
I think about this all the time. Am I gonna be able
I have
to
to meet new people?
Yes.
This is like
This is what I wrote down in my notes, that I was scared to go back to meet new people.
This is my first job, guys, ever that I do not know, like, anyone. Well, actually, no, I know one person who works there, but it's like we're totally different departments. Like, I'm never gonna see him.
I think that. Have I always known somebody at my jobs? For the most part, I actually do know somebody that works where I'm hoping to get hired.
But
thank
like,
God,
that's the thing,
but like,
I don't. Other than that, like, I don't know anyone. And this is in a way like it's totally different realm of like anything I've ever done. So
you know what though, like
I think this is good for me. It's
I
changed.
think it is too. And like so at my last job, I had that same mentality because the person I knew did not work in the same department as I did. So like we weren't around each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up meeting like one of my really, really good friends from that job, you know, and that's like we literally just sat together and spent so much time together. Like it'll happen. You'll be fine.
That's like,
it's just like that like
maybe
initial
I'll meet super cool people.
It's just the initial like awkward like, oh, hi, like because they all have friends already and like it's like fucking high school for a little bit.
But also, of course, knowing me, when I got hired yesterday, I was like talking to this girl. Mm-hmm. I know. I totally was just like, oh, hi. Like, and we started talking. I was like, oh, now I know someone. Like, she's cool. I was like, when I see her.
You're like, when I start work, we're going to be friends, okay?
I'm like, girl. But, yeah, I'm, like, nervous. I'm just super excited to, like, honestly be making money again.
Yeah.
And,
I would be, too.
Like, that's pretty much it. I think this is, like, the light is approaching. Like, we're finally reaching the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited, especially for the podcast. Like, okay, because now we're going to have work stories.
I know.
Eventually, like, you know, we might be doing more things.
I know. I'm excited.
We're going to have more life.
Life is taking a turn, people.
But yeah, honestly, like, are you guys working? Have you been working? I feel like a lot of people have been working the entire pandemic.
They have. But I also feel like a lot of people have not.
True. So, like, okay. If you are watching,
let's put a poll on our stories.
We'll put it on IG. So Monday, if you're listening to this, the poll will be up on IG. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, hi, comment. Have you been working? What have you been up to?
Yeah.
Do you like your job?
And have you ever quit a job without having another job?
Yeah. Like, how do you feel about like the whole booked and busy thing? Like, if you're 20 something, like, how do you feel about that? Because I used to, like, this is something we've talked about in many episodes. I used to totally be that girl where I took so much, like, when I first started at Active, my last job, I was working that and another job, and I was a full-time student. And I remember, like, I was so miserable, but I took so much pride for some stupid reason. I was like, I have 2 jobs and I'm a full-time student and have good grades and I go out like.
But that's like because.
And it's like, why? Why are we so proud of that?
Because
like,
that's what people think we have to do. Like,
and it's
I was the same way,
gross.
but so like think about it like this: did your mom ever, or like your dad, like when talking to somebody, be like, "We're so proud of her. She's going to school and she's working."
Oh,
all the time,
like,
right?
That's why, like, I think I struggled with. I mean, I was depressed for so many reasons during this past year, but I think one thing, like, I really struggled with, this is gonna sound so dumb, but I struggled with my identity for a while.
Yeah, because we put a lot of value into that.
Yes, like, I put so much emphasis on being like such a hard worker and like a student. Like,
isn't that my whole
like, even
like,
when I wasn't working 2 jobs, I was like
we think our values, I really like, felt less.
Yes, I really.
It's fun.
Like, that's the thing too. It's like I was still a full-time student, and I remember like I would break down, and I was like, I'm not doing enough. And it's like, what the hell do you mean? Like, you're literally in college during a pandemic.
School. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And I don't know. Like,
and it's like, even if you're doing nothing, like, okay, that's just the time of your life. Like, this is the season that you're going through that. It's crazy though, but that's normal. Like, that was. Because that's what we're like conditioned to think, is that if we're not doing all these things, then we're not doing enough, you know?
Like I remember this girl, like, I used to be best friends with, like, she had like 3 jobs and was like in college, but it's like
that too.
She needed that to survive. And I just remember being like, and then I, like, for a bit too, I was like, fuck, like, am I not doing enough?
Yeah, you're like, I do have a little extra time. Should I be doing something else?
Yeah, and then I was like, fuck, no.
Yeah, dude.
No, I don't want to.
I've kind of let go of that recently.
I don't know. Like, I'm happy. I'm excited for this new chapter in my life. I feel like change is coming. Things are going good. I'm excited. And if it's not for me, it's not for me.
Yeah, you'll see.
I'm not going to be the person to just wait around and just be like, oh.
Life is happening, and we're just going to go with it.
Yeah, exactly. We're going with the flow. I'm so proud of us.
I am, too. I'm having, like, a severe eye twitch.
Oh, my gosh. Severe eye twitch. I'm fucking Miss Yawns over here. Shit.
Oh, my God.
Guys, I don't.
Yeah.
This is life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
2021.
excited that we've got to like do a little update on work. You know, something's in motion in that part of our lives. So yeah.
How would you say you feel about being booked and busy?
I don't want to ever be booked and busy.
Yeah.
I want to work and make money and also live my life is where I'm at with that.
I think I'm excited. I think that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Same. And it's not that I don't like to be busy, but I'm not trying to be like fucking.
Yeah. Overworked.
I need time, you know?
Take that PTO and all that.
Mm-hmm. I said I need time after a year of being fucking unemployed.
Right.
Fuck it. I don't care. This is called self-awareness. I like time off.
I love us.
I do too, honestly.
This podcast. And yeah, I think that's it for today, guys.
I think so.
Thanks for listening, watching.
I keep forgetting.
Like, subscribe, follow, all that jazz, all of our socials. Mm-hmm. They're in the links of everything. So yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.